You know how it is. Ireland is neutral for a good reason. The people don't want us to be fighting for the British." Nola waved the poker in her hand in the air. "No one to see him off. My son is putting his life at risk and not an ounce of gratitude in any of them." She threw the poker back into the fireplace with force, and it clattered against the blackened stone chimney. Seamus was relieved. He had regretted speaking the moment she turned from the fire to face him, the tip of the poker burning as red as her round apple cheeks. He looked about him awkwardly and inclined his head towards the open farmhouse door to check if Pete Shevlin, the farmhand, was waiting for him. Sarah would be there soon. He had seen the first of the fishing boats leaving as he rode down from the top field, dragging the prickly yellow whin in bundles behind the horse to hedge off the bull with a stubborn taste for freedom. Sarah would be there in minutes. It was time for Seamus to take charge, to separate his wife from the last of her brood. She didn't yet know it, but she was going to need her husband to support her when the moment of truth hit her, to comfort her and absorb her tears. Even though they had 6 other children who'd already left for foreign shores, and even though tears had been shed at their leaving, this parting would be the worst. Michael might never return to Tarabeg. This might have been his last night in his own bed, the last breakfast she would serve him. She might never again complain about the water on the floor after he'd finished his wash. Michael wouldn't be sending home happy letters stuffed with dollars like the others, or a hat at Christmas from Macy's like the 6 in New York had bought and sent home together, in a huge hat box that half of the village had gathered in the post office to watch her open. A hat Nola would never wear. She had no notion yet how Michael's leaving would rip her heart in two, but Seamus did, and this sudden removal of Nola from the house was a part of his plan to save her, if only from a fraction of the pain of parting. "Come on, the horse is ready and Ellen Carey's expecting you. I saw there was a rip in your dress at Mass on Sunday and Ellen has it. I took it down yesterday." Nola spluttered in disbelief. "You did what?" Seamus continued undeterred. Nola would not have her way, not today, for her own sake. "Pete isn't due to collect Daddy-O from Paddy's bar until 4. Let's go." He had removed all her avenues of protest, and he was doing something he was simply not used to doing. He was crossing a line, taking charge inside his own house. As they made their way down the hill, the horse harnessed to the cart, and Nola stoic, resentful and silent, they came upon Sarah, her eyes alight, her skirt bunched up in her hands so as not to trip her, and her golden red hair flying in the breeze behind her. Seamus lifted his hat in greeting. "I'll be back for him in an hour, Sarah. You don't have long." His heart pained for her. Just 16, and already she'd experienced far more heartache than any girl of her age should. "I've left food on the table," said Nola. "Make sure he eats, would you, Sarah? There's oatcakes and buttermilk on the side of the fire on the griddle, keeping warm." She grabbed her husband's arm. "Seamus, stop! Stop the horse, would ye?" But Seamus hadn't stopped the horse. He hadn't even slowed it. He kept the cart moving, and by the time Nola had finished her sentence, Sarah was behind them, waving down to them, disappearing into the distance. He cracked the reins and the horse trotted smartly down the hill. Nola turned abruptly to face him. "What did you do that for, you fat maggot?" She slapped him on his back with her bag, but not too hard. "I had things to tell her, instructions. God in heaven, you'll be sending that lad away starving hungry." Seamus didn't reply. He whistled to the horse and flicked the reins, and they trotted on to Ellen Carey's and the dress that didn't need mending. "Promise me you'll wait for me until it's all over and I'm back," Michael begged Sarah as he held her in his arms in the final minutes before he left. The stars had aligned, the weather was fair, the tide was in, the fishermen out. It had all come together to give them this precious hour alone. But it was a risk, as Sarah's mother was painfully aware. "God be with you, Sarah, and be careful, will you?" she'd admonished. "They are only loading the nets yet. If he catches sight of you from the shore—" They rarely referred to Sarah's father by name. It was always he or him. But Angela McGuffey's words had fallen on deaf ears, and she'd been left standing at the door, watching her daughter scramble up the escarpment from the beach to the road, the blaze of her golden red hair seeming to hang in the air behind her long after she'd gone. Now, all